Good morning. This is Mornings with Michael for information and educational purposes only. Your responsibility to do your own due diligence, what's right for you. We start at Bitcoin. Bitcoin is holding up, pulled back from 67, 68,000, and it is bouncing a little bit. So that is the story with Bitcoin. Let us go over here. This is our heat map. It is on fire. It is down quite a bit. Tesla has a big portion to do with this. This is down 10%. Google is going down because they didn't like their earnings as well. And NVIDIA, the whole semiconductor area is down as well. So it does not look good today. It is a tough day in the market. Utilities are up. Energy is actually bouncing. Financials are mixed bag. And healthcare and biotech continue to do well. So that is the story there. Let's go to our word of the day. Word of the day is Magnifico. Magnifico, an eminent, powerful, and illustrious person. Arthur was considered a Magnifico in the publishing industry. So that is the story. Let us go to chart. This is the dollar index. Dollar index is falling a little bit today. Take a look at silver. Silver is pulling back. Copper is pulling back. This is stock for uranium. It continues to pull back. One that we currently hold. Danforth is right at our buy point. So it had gone up here. Possibly we should have taken profits. Instead, we sold a bunch of covered calls. We're going to be a long-term holder of this one as long as it can hold on to its 200-day moving average. So that is the story there. Look at gold. Gold is actually gapping up. This has been one of the leaders in the gold miners. Had a huge gap up here, riding the 10-day. Now it's pulled back to the pretty close to the 20-day. The 10-year bond yields are still pretty low, 4.23%, down another 0.24% today. The 20-year is actually up 0.41%. And now let us look at the VIX, which is just exploding higher. 1830 was our long-term target, and it's getting pretty close to that. S&P 500 is down today with definitely with the VIX going that far up. Yes, it's getting close to its 50-day moving average, down 1.68%. And let's take a look at the RSP, the equal weight. It's pulling back to its 10-day, 20-day actually, and we saw a little bounce there, down 0.44%. NASDAQ is going to be down big time, just slides through the 50-day moving average, down about 3%. The equal weight in the NASDAQ is falling pretty fast too, down 1.7%. IWM, which was our leading ETF yesterday, pulling back a little bit, but it still remains pretty strong. And the Dow Jones, here's our ETF of the day. So Duke Energy is lifting off, and Southern Energy is the two biggest utility plays in there. Looks like did put on, took off a bunch of stuff today and then put this one on. Looks like it's trying to clear this little tight action in the pivot. Continue to Well, this biotech is up and healthcare is up as well. Got a strong move in healthcare. So that is a story there. Got a lot of news. Tesla Q2 EPS 52 cents, below the consensus of 60 cents. Yes, they are falling 10.5%. All the institutional investors came in at the wrong time, I guess, based on this news. General Motors is downgraded. It'll slow down here, so we're going to pause. So this is GM. GM downgraded to equal weight from overweight at Morgan Stanley. We do have a problem with our internet here today. So we're back here. We got Mattel. Mattel is kind of streaking Q2 EPS 19 cents versus 17-cent estimate. On to Cal-Maine. Q4 EPS $2.32 versus estimate $1.85, and they're streaking ahead. So that's where the money is moving today, up 4.67%. Red Rock Resorts, quarter EPS 59 cents versus 66 cents, and they're falling on that news. On to energy. Aventur to replace Quidel Ortho in S&P 500, 400 at open on 726 and is moving up on this news, up 7%. Enphase Energy in the solar area, Q2 adjusted EPS 43 cents versus estimate 48 cents. You'd think it'd be falling, but no, it's rising. Revenues 303 million. They guide Q3 revenues 370 to 410 versus estimate of 403.52 million. So that is why it's moving up on the guide higher. EQT Corporation Q2 adjusted EPS 8-cent loss versus 20-cent loss estimate. So they're moving higher on that news. Matador Resources Q2 EPS $2.05 versus $1.76 estimate, and they're moving higher, beating that estimate. The earnings were up 44%. Neighbors Q2 EPS loss $4.29 versus estimate loss of $1.85. And you would think they would be going down on that news, but no. Maybe the forward-looking information has boosted them. And next we go to a range. Sources, I wasn't quite on the page yet, so let's adjust this and get back over here. Range Resources Q2 EPS 46 cents versus 42, and they're diving 2.24%. Flat Protection said 2024 all-in capital budget 620 to 670 million. Annual production being near high end of guidance. Weatherford Q2 revenue 1.405 billion versus estimate of 1.41, and they're dropping on that news, down 8% today. Ouch, considering we had that in our portfolios. Visa Q3 adjusted EPS $2.42 versus $2.42, and they're dropping big time. A great Reality EPS 52 cents versus 44 cents, and they're moving up. Real estate seems to be doing well. Capital One Financial Q2 adjusted EPS $3.14 versus $3.29. Initially falls to the 50-day and bounces. Revenues rose 5% year over year to 9.5 billion. Chubb, Q2 EPS $5.38 versus $5.15. Slight beat, and it is falling 0.85%. CoStar Group, Q2 EPS 15 cents versus 9 cents, and they're rising on that news. Deutsche Bank shares fall after set aside 1.3 billion euros in provision as it posted its first loss in 4 years. We're going to adjust our chart. We got a lot of earnings to get through here. Innova, Q2 EPS 221 versus estimate 207, and it moves up higher on getting close to the profit zone. Penny Mac Financial Services raises quarter dividend 50% to 30 cents a share. Earnings came at $1.80 versus consensus of $2.58, and they're falling on that news. Retail Opportunity, Q2 FFO a share, 25 cents, and it is falling on that news to the 10-day moving average. Excuse me. Riot Platforms has acquired Block Mining, Kentucky-based vertically integrated Bitcoin miner, for $92.5 million onto healthcare. Biogen and Sage Therapeutics announced top-line results from phase 2 Kinetic 2 study of Sage 324. No statistically significant differences were demonstrated between any dose of Sage 324 and the placebo. This Biogen is heading up slightly 1.5%, and Sage is heading down, gapping down. Boston Scientific, Q2 adjusted EPS 62 cents versus 58, initially sold off, trying to fight back. Pfizer said Wednesday that its gene therapy for hemophilia A successfully reduced patients' bleeds for at least 15 months. They're moving up slightly, 0.64%. Quidel Ortho replaced Hibbett. Hibbett in the S&P 600 on the open of 726. Hibbett, I guess, is being acquired by JD Fashion. Quidel Ortho is moving up 6%. And Hibbett, just take a look at that. And they're pretty flat. They got the cash offer right over here. That's why it remained so flat. On to Veristream. 13.333 million share spot secondary priced at $3, and that's where the shares dropped to today. Usana Health, Q2 EPS 54 cents versus 65, dropped significantly, and it tries to bounce back. Industrials and Materials, Canadian National, Q2 EPS $1.84 versus $1.94, dropping significantly. FTA Aviation, adjusted beta 213,904 million versus estimate of 177 million. And it is breaking out of this consolidation here. Let's draw the line. You can see that it's up almost 4% today. Packaging Corporation, adjusted EPS 220 versus 214, up 0.92%. Schneider National to replace Silica and the S&P 600 at the open on 731, and gaps up today after moving down yesterday. Up 3.44%. On to technology, media, and telecom. Google, Alphabet, Q2 EPS $1.89 versus $1.84, and it's pulling back to the 20-day moving average, down actually below the 50-day, down almost 5%. AT&T, Quarter two adjusted up 5% today. It's in line consensus, and quarter two revenue right around 30 billion versus the 29.92 billion. CrowdStrike said in software update, crashed computers globally last week, hitting services was caused by a bug in the US cybersecurity firm's quality control mechanism. They bounced yesterday and then they're pulling back again today. Manhattan Associates, EPS $1.18 versus 96 cents, and they're moving up 10% on that news. Seagate Technology, $1.05 versus consensus of 75 cents. And Texas Instruments, $1.22 versus $1.17. Finally, Spotify upgraded to buy from neutral at Goldman Sachs. This was our stock of the day yesterday. We're going to pause when I get a little drink, see if I can solve this frog. So we're just going to look today at what's up 10% on 200% increase in volume. We got 3 items. We got Progressive Holdings gapping up 21%. Earnings came in at 0%, a 25% earnings surprise. Manhattan Associates, I believe we looked at them in the news, up 10%. And ENPH, which we also looked up in the news, they were up 15% earlier. Looks like some people taking their profits. So let's just go look at the XLF is down, XLC, big gap down, XLE is up slightly, XLY is gapping down on Tesla's news. And here's the healthcare up slightly, utilities up, mining and metals down, building down, home builders down a little bit in both of these. And the IBB Biotech Index is up. The SBI Biotech ETF is up as well, up 0.28%. SMH is going to be down, dropping significantly below its 50-day. Take a look at NVIDIA. Drops below its 50-day, tries to bounce here. We'll see if it's support, but it's down nearly 5%. It was down 5.5% earlier. We got out of NVIDIA for the time being. We're not sure how bad this could get, but Meta gapping down as well from the Google news. See Amazon. Everything is moving below its 50-day moving average. We did talk about this on our Sunday program. Netflix is down. Apple is diving. I'm glad we put on the covered call options on Apple. And Microsoft, Mr. Softy, is diving as well. So that is the story right there. And let's see what else we kind of did. Take a look at app. We continue to hold app. It's down a little bit today. We'll just continue to watch it. Elf Beauty. We have the options at 175. We got out of air test systems as it came below the 200-day moving average. Sun is dropping big time, so we dropped that one as well. And of course, things we added yesterday are pulling back. Road not too bad. Pulled back strong, and now it's kind of bouncing. Closed Bit Farms. Did bounce, of course, right after we sold it, but didn't like it moving below that moving average. Did take some profits at BitX. Took half of our profits when it was up at 26%. And continue to hold LABU in the biotech area. I think this looks pretty strong. And LT. Pull back a little bit, bounce off the 20-day moving average. We just continue to hold that. And Dave. Pulling back here, we may close out of this. Just don't like this move. So that is the story. Good morning to Michael for information and educational purposes only. Hope everybody has a great day, and keep going out there, keep the faith, keep working hard, and we'll be here tomorrow to support you guys.